not seen a player hung out to dry like this before by a club. No, it's you often get briefings. Crikey, we've all seen internal briefings from clubs about players that they don't fancy anymore, but it's never been done as directly and aggressively as this. I mean, I'm sure the bloke who put the TikTok video together has been sacked. If he hasn't, he will be. But he's obviously a bit of his master's voice there. He wouldn't have put that out unless someone had said, yeah, do it. It's a truly remarkable situation that, you know, a player who is clearly outstandingly talented was one of the leaders of the team that won Serie A last year. And, you know, when I've been watching him as play well, he's been absolutely eviscerated by the club's TikTok channel for missing a penalty in the draw with Bologna at the weekend. Now, that is bizarre in itself. But I think there's been a build-up of tension. It seems like quite a few of the Napoli players who loved their time under Spalletti are not enjoying Rudy Garcia's brand of management. And I think this is part of it. There was criticism last week of the fact that they took until the last minute to win the away game at Braga in the Champions League. They haven't started their defensive Serie A title so well. Now they drew with Genoa and now drawn with Bologna. And just a few weeks after De Laurentiis and the board were saying, you know, we won't accept 170 million for Osimhen, it looks like they may be setting up an auction for January, if not the summer. But it's you know, when his agent is basically threatening to sue the club for a Mickey taking TikTok video, it tells you that something's seriously awry. Missing a penalty is not the most heinous crime in the history of football, is it? Now, Osimhen was taken off with a few minutes to go on the weekend and apparently wasn't very happy and made it pretty clear with a sort of disdainful gesture in the direction of the manager. But that's what players do when it's 0-0 with 5 minutes to go and they're the central striker and they've missed a penalty. He's going to be frustrated and angry. I think it's symptomatic of a bigger issue within the club. And it isn't just Osimhen who's been voicing through the various normal channels, shall we say, the disquiet with the new coach. I think there's a big problem there. And if it felt within the club that it's a back the manager or back the players, it's normally the players who get back. This is quite bizarre that they decided to back the manager against arguably, in fact, probably their best player. The agent has threatened to sue the club for it because he's criticised and condemned. The video has been taken down, but the damage has been done. The obvious thought here is that, you know, they're already 2 weeks after or 3 weeks after the window's shut, looking to move him on maybe as soon as January. If he's available now and he wants out, then obviously the price goes down. I mean, there'll be a queue of clubs banging the door down to get him, not just in England, but primarily, I would think, in England because we've got more money than anybody else. But, you know, PSG might see him as a replacement for Mbappe. Real Madrid might fancy a little bit of it because they've, you know, they maybe want a striker for this season. Anything could happen. Remember, in January, you can sign players who can play in the Champions League. They're not cup tied anymore. Even if he's played for Napoli in the group stage, he can join another Champions League club in January and play in the knockout stage. So he's still valuable, very much so, for this season. I'd be amazed if Chelsea aren't, even if they've spent an absolute fortune on players. Look, they need a striker. They can't score goals at the moment. Arsenal need a striker. I mean, and they probably could nominally afford to spend more than Chelsea could because of FFP scenario. So I think that every Premier League club who would be alerted to this would be interested. And then it's a question of whether they can win the battle. But it certainly adds an extra layer of excitement to the transfer window in January already, because the issue is, will they let him go then or will they try and hold on? But the longer they hold on, if this rupture within the club continues, the less they get for him.